Okay, we're going to be presenting on the Luna Perez versus Sturgis Public Schools Supreme Court case. So first, we're going to explain the story of Miguel Luna Perez, and we're going to answer the questions of who, what, where, when, and why.
Then we're going to move on to court decisions, and we're going to talk about what really happened in the lower courses, as well as what occurred in the Supreme Court and their decision. We will also be discussing the significance of that decision and possible implications for deaf students, deaf communities, and overall legislature in the future.
And finally, we're going to share some resources, just some more information, and what is going to happen moving forward. So first, what happened? So where is the Sturgis School District in Sturgis, Michigan? And Perez's file came after the school district announced they would not permit Perez to graduate. So what is Miguel Luna Perez's story? So he attended the Sturgis School District from ages 9 to 20. And first, he says that there were unqualified interpreters. And some of the examples he gave was one interpreter attempted to teach herself ASL, and so she was not a qualified interpreter. And the others would be absent from class for hours on end, and he would be left with no language and no communication with the teachers and his classmates. And the next thing is misrepresentation of education. And so this was an inflation of grades and grade advancement, and Perez's family and himself believed that he was on track to graduate. And then the school district claimed that he was unable to graduate. And so the Sturgis School District denied him access to graduate, and Perez and his family complained, and Sturgis and the Perez family came to a settlement. But then Perez sued for discrimination under the ADA, and the court said that Perez wasn't allowed to sue because of an idea clause, and the appellate court agreed. And then the case was presented under the Supreme Court.
So as Mallory was discussing in the previous slide in the lower courts, first Perez did a mediation with a hearing officer and Sturgis to come to a settlement, which they did settle, and he did receive financial compensation under the IDEA. But then they decided that they wanted to get compensation for their damages under the ADA. So that is what they did, and they filed under the federal courts to receive that compensation. And under both the regular district and the Sixth Circuit courts, they basically denied him that compensation. And so his case was pushed to the Supreme Court. In the Supreme Court, they primarily focused on the wording under the IDA clause, specifically using the word remedy. Using this word was synonymous with the word relief, which the Supreme Court says is usually what is considered compensation. And what ended up happening was that the court said that because of this wording, the plaintiff, or in this case Perez, because he was seeking remedies that were not addressed under the IDEA, he was able to sue Sturgis and receive compensation under the ADA. And so this is the legislation that is involved that's out of the ADA, basically saying, in summary, that a person that is deprived of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured by our Constitution has a right to sue the person that has brought them this injustice.
And the significance, it is a significant win It brings to light the issues deaf students have in mainstream public schools, and it expresses the right for access to equal quality education and quality interpreters and resources to be provided by the school district.
And the potential legislation side is this potentially weakens the IDEA regarding their ability to settle claims under themselves as a department. And Congress may see this and decide that they want to add a clause, an exhaustion clause, which the IDA was trying to acquire of Perez, so that he would have to exhaust all of his options under the IDEA before going to seek further compensation. So they may add a clause like this, but they also may allow exemptions depending on the case. So a case like Perez's.
And then resources, so there's still some more work to be done. And we just have incorporated some links to some more articles and some more videos that goes into a little bit more depth.
Thank you.